What's up YouTube, Webberz05 here, coming at you today with Q&A number 41. You really think that by this point I'd check which number I'm on before I start the Q&A, but no. Oh well. So guys, before we get into the Q&A, quick shout out to Green Beetles, new subscriber. Thank you so much, you're the reason my channel is growing stronger. Also want to give a small shout out guys to the Endymion Duelists Facebook group. Turns out I just got a top contributor badge added to my account, so yay! Thank you so much. Okay, on that note guys, I've had two sets of questions from my good friends Express Gaming and Dark Magician 84, so I'll get for the first sets of questions which are from Express Gaming. 8 questions today. 1. Thoughts on Blue Eyes Jet Dragon? I don't really remember everything of what Jet Dragon does, but I really like the artwork and I think it looks really cool. I'm really happy that they finally took Kaiba's plane and turned it into a card. I feel like they were going to do that at some point and now they have, so happy with that. 2. Thoughts on Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon? I think Alternative is an absolutely massively big help into the deck, gives them like a nice little extra extender and a use for Blue Eyes cards in your hand, besides using them for trading. I mean, you can still use them for trading, but now you can use them for something else as well. But yeah, Alternative, overall, really decent card, pretty easy to summon as well, so yeah, great addition into the deck. 3. Thoughts on Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon? I really rated Tyrant when they dropped it in the anime. I really enjoyed seeing it, and I was like, dude, this is pretty sick. And then naturally when we got the extra Blue Eyes spawn a few sets ago, they decided to bring that in. I'm like, yeah, I like this. This is pretty sweet. Not bad. 4. Thoughts on Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon? It's decent for what it does, because it's essentially like a stronger version of Alternative White Dragon, which essentially works to the same of like what they do with every kind of Ultimate Blue Eyes. They make it a stronger version of the predecessing one. Though personally, I feel like we've just had enough. Like, we've already got Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon now. We've got Ultimate Dragon, Neo Ultimate, and now we've got Alternative Ultimate. I feel like we've got enough Ultimate Blue Eyes now. So maybe Konami just take a break on doing any more of those for a while. 5. What cards do you think you would have look amazing? What cards do you think would have looked amazing as a Starlight rare that don't have that rare? Cards that I think would look very good as a Starlight rare that don't have one. I personally would very much like to see my Ace Monster, Endymion the Mighty Master of Magic, as a Starlight. I think that would be a wickedly nice Starlight. That being said, I think you could also just make a very nice secret rare as well, and it doesn't have that either. I'm pretty sure Access Code Talker doesn't also have a Starlight yet, but I feel that is one of those cards that could very easily get a Starlight at some point. But yeah, hard to say. There's a lot of cards I could think of that would probably look very nice as a Starlight. But for now, probably my Ace Monster Endymion would probably be the one I'd like to see as a Starlight next. But let's be honest, Konami hates pendulums and they're not going to. 6. Thoughts on the Mario Bros. Movie? I enjoyed it a lot. I very much enjoyed it as well. I saw it on the Wednesday just before my birthday, and because when I checked the screen times, it says it wasn't showing on my birthday. Then when I checked the day after, essentially all the film times updated, and then it was there again. So I'm like, let's see. I could go see Guardians of the Galaxy, but Guardians of the Galaxy is eventually going to end up on Disney Plus. So yeah, and then I also was like in the position, I wasn't sure what streaming service the Super Mario movie was going to end up on. I also really enjoyed it the first time, so I just decided to go see it a second time. Still thoroughly enjoyed it the second time as well. It was so great. Luma was just so dark and funny. And Jack Black, just the man, the legend. He really brought the part into Bowser. Like, if Nintendo ever gives Bowser proper voice roles in future video games, if they don't have Jack Black doing it, it's just going to be a thorough disappointment. His performance, on point. Loved it. would highly recommend anyone to just go and see it, just for Jack Black, because he's, like I said, on point. It was great. 7. Thoughts on your favourite flavour of Pringles. What are your top 3? Mine are first paprika, second salt and vinegar, third is smoky bacon Pringles. For me with Pringles, my favourite one would probably have to be barbecue, because ever since my friend introduced me to barbecue, I've like never gone back to any other flavour. But then after a point of having it for so long, I got kind of bored of it and I had to stop. And my second favourite would probably have to be the Kickin' Sour Cream and Onion, which is basically just sour cream and onion with hints of chili in it, which I really enjoyed that extra kick. It was really nice. And after that, I don't really have a third one, but it would probably just have to be the regular sour cream and onion. But frankly, after the first two, I don't really need anything else after those. And question 8. I'm having a barbecue for my birthday this year on the 22nd of June. Richie is coming by and we are all going 10-pin bowling go-karts. Go-karts first, the barbecue will be later that day. Would you like to join us? So I checked on my calendar and the 22nd of June is a Thursday and I'm pretty sure I'm working that day, so I don't think I can. Checking it through. Yeah, I'll be working that day, so I won't be able to. And if you were planning to move it to that weekend, I'm going to be away at a friend's wedding, so I'll have to respectfully decline just because I won't have the time. But I hope you guys have fun. Okay, the next 10 questions are from Dark Magician 84. So the first few sets of questions are continuing on from his thing on spellcasters' opinions. So, 1. Thoughts on Chocolate Magician Girl? Decent bit of draw power in Dark Magician, and good revival option as well if she gets attacked. So yeah, overall pretty decent. Also like that she's water attribute, so hey, if you wanted to, you can play 2, do a Bahamut Toad and Dark Magician if you wanted to. If you wanted to. 2. Thoughts on Sorcerer of Dark Magic? I really like the way he looks. I think he's got a really decent effect. And his trap negating effect, naturally pretty useful. Naturally that would come in and out of the format. But for a summoning condition that you have to tribute 2 spellcasters that are over level 6, bit much to go into. So kind of debatable if you'd want to play it as a just general card in a spellcaster based deck, unless your build is focused on summoning it. So again, decent card, I don't know. That being said, with Labyrinth currently Labyrinth trying to make a bit more of an appearance in the format, that could be something for me to consider to contend with Labyrinth. It's not exactly difficult for me to get 2 level 6s out of my field. I'll have to have a think about that and maybe pick up some of those. So yeah, I'll consider that actually. 3. Thoughts on the Dark Magicians? I'm assuming you're talking about the fusion monster, the Dark Magicians, no, as opposed to the Dark Magicians archetype. So the Dark Magicians, very easy to summon as a Dark Magician fusion, which is probably really good for the deck. Its effect pretty decent, letting you just scope through to see if you can hit your spells and traps, and you get to use them the same turn, so that's really useful as well. Then if it pops, floats into both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, so yeah, really useful. Probably the last effect's only really good if you actually do have both in your deck. If you're more specifically focused on one or the other, not tremendously as useful. But overall, I think it's a really interesting card. 4. I know you don't do these, but have you ever considered doing pack openings? I'm not really huge on pack openings, because typically when I get cards, I'll just buy the individual ones, because I'm just one of those people that just, if I want something specific, I will go for it. Typically, I'll only go for packs if I know there's a lot of stuff in that set that I'm after, and it also depends how easy it is that stuff is to get, so... But generally, overall, I don't really typically go for pack openings, so probably not. 5. Have you considered bringing Pendulum Magician back? I'm surprised that you would ask if you... I'm surprised that you would want me to bring Pendulum Magician back, considering how much I know you dislike it. But to answer the question, I'm very happy being on Endymion. Like, yes, I've had a lot of fun with Pendulum Magician over the past, but essentially now it's just kind of... I've moved... Essentially now I'm just in the point I've kind of moved on. I much prefer playing Endymion than I do playing Pendulum Magician. Yes, I like that Pendulum Magician has lots of versatility. They can do lots of different extra deck plays, summons, manipulating through Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz, and now with the addition of the Odd Eyes archetype, ritual summoning is a lot easier as well. It's always something I can consider going back to, but right now, Endymion, I'm just really enjoying it too much to go back to playing it. But who knows? Maybe someday I will, but I don't know. These next ones are about some of my top 20 favourite warriors, which I'll continue in the next episode. Okay, going into warriors now. So, question 6. Thoughts on Flame Swordsman? Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure his name is Frank. But going on to the actual question, I do very much rate the Flame Swordsman. He's like a nice classic monster from the original series. I would very much like to see him get his own archetype at some point. Like, he can already be easily semi-supported through Infernobles as well, because I know a lot of their support literally just is based on fire warrior monsters, so yeah, I think Konami could very easily find a way to like semi-make Flame Swordsman decent by using couple bits from Infernoble and then adding into their own archetype, adding in to turn the Flame Swordsman into its own full archetype as well. Maybe a nice search card for Salamander as well, which could be nice. Again, kind of working with Infernobles as well, which are based on equip cards. So yeah, Flame Swordsman, I really like it, and I would really love to see if they do anything else with that in the future. Because I know there's only like 2 monsters in the archetype, which are Flame Swordsman and Blue Flame Swordsman, but considering that they're based on colours of fire, very easily could do other colours in the Flame Swordsman. I think a green Flame Swordsman would be pretty cool. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But overall, I really rate him as an OG monster. 7. Thoughts on Gearfried the Iron Knight? Again, similar to Flame Swordsman, he's a nice classic monster from the original series. I also really like how in the Waking the Dragons arts we got to see that he got his own evolved form of what was under the armour, which was Gearfried the Swordmaster, which is probably one of the favourite ultra rares that I own. It's one of my original ultra rares that I first got when I started out in the game. And it's nice to see that he's had some retrains over the years, like Gearfried the Red-Eyes Knight, few other Gearfrieds as well. I don't remember all of them though. But yeah, overall, I think he's a nice OG thing. I think I recall in the video games I used Gearfried quite a few times in some of my decks simply because it was an 1800 beta that was easily searchable because of Rota and other stuff. 8. Thoughts on Strike Ninja? Strike Ninja, for his effect in the actual game, it's kind of meh. I much preferred watching him in the Dungeon Dice Monsters episodes from the original series. Frankly, Strike Ninja was one of the best monsters in that Dungeon Dice series. I thought he was really cool. But yeah, overall, Strike Ninja, he's again kind of generic from way back in the day. But overall, decent in the way he looks, how he worked in the anime. But overall, as a card, he's kind of meh. 9. Thoughts on Elemental Hero Ocean? Ocean's pretty interesting, somewhat. Like, when I was playing an Elemental Hero deck in the video games, I did play Elemental Hero Ocean. I think my only issue with Ocean is that his effect's just a bit too slow in order to work. But yeah, nice that they've got another water attribute monster that works well with the deck. That being said, in the current format now you've got things like Bubble Man has always been a bit more interesting because of his inherent special summon and the potential to draw 2 cards. And now Liquid Soldier's just and now Liquid Soul just like kind of replaced both of them. But overall, he's not bad, not great, but not bad. And 10, thoughts on Goyo Guardian. Goyo Guardian, yes, nice generic thing from the original from the start of Synchro Eras. Like, I very much, like, when I played the 5Ds video game on my DS, that was pretty much one of my staples that I was playing, because, let's be honest guys, Goyo Guardian was so good back in the day. But then he got banned. That was justifiably banned, he was a bit too good. And they brought him back in the Pendulum era, simply because Pendulums go to the extra check, which kind of nullifies this effect. And then throughout the Pendulum era, they added the Goyo archetype, and then subsequently basically just ruined Goyo Guardian as a generic and turned him into a Goyo archetype, so now he's locked into the Earth archetype of being able to how to summon him, which kind of just ruined the card, and now I don't really like it as much anymore. So the original one, really liked it. Current one, no, not anymore. Ruined. And on that note, guys, that is all the questions I have from this week. So thank you very much, DarkPatrician84 and Express Gaming, for your questions. Very amusing. And if anyone else wants to ask me any questions, I do these Q&As every Wednesday afternoon, UK time, or morning, depending on my schedule. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.